Welcome, class of 2022, families and friends, to Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. In case of emergency, stadium exits are located above the seating areas on the concourse level, on the west, north, and east sides of the stadium. Please follow stadium event staff instructions and note that the closest exit may not be where you entered. For first aid and emergency medical services, please visit the designated areas located on the concourse. For assistance during the ceremony, please contact the nearest staff member or police officer or text 919-808-5576 with the issue and location. Thank you and congratulations, graduates. Welcome to Duke University's 170th commencement. Please direct your attention to the end of the field and welcome the Duke University class of 2022. Now entering the stadium and throughout the processional march are the candidates for degrees from Trinity College of Arts and Sciences, who are joined this year by the candidates from Duke Kunshan University. Entering now are the candidates from the Pratt School of Engineering. welcome the candidates from the Sanford School of Public Policy. Now the candidates from the Nicholas School of the Environment. Currently entering the stadium are the candidates from the Fuqua School of Business. Entering now are the candidates from the School of Nursing. welcome the candidates from the Divinity School. Currently entering are the candidates from the School of Law. Please welcome the candidates from the School of Medicine. Now entering are the candidates from the Graduate School. Please rise and remain standing as we recognize the faculties of Duke University, the Duke University Administration, the members of the Board of Trustees, followed by the members of the Platform Party. Now, please remain standing for the presentation of our colors by members of Seymour Johnson Air Force Base Honor Guard and the singing of our national anthem.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets flamed, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. God of love, we praise you in the sanctuary of creation, because morning has broken like the first morning, and we breathe like the first breath. Every breath is a praise break for making it to this daybreak. We praise for arriving at the door of our luminous future, even though some parents might have thought they would be paying tuition forever. Thank you for surprising them and us, and that despite a global pandemic with mask wearing, social distancing, and hand sanitizing, we're still here. Through a pandemic, we praise as we electric slide out of Duke. We get joy when we think about what you've done for us, inside and outside the classroom. We praise because we fought the good fight and finished this Blue Devil race, even as we are surprised by some of those who actually crossed the finish line with us. Despite the challenges we've endured, the disappointments we've had, the losses we've experienced, the questions we've raised, the tears we've shed, the shouts we've exclaimed, we praise as if we just scored a touchdown. We dance, we laugh, we sing as harbingers of hope for the world to hear. Through heartbreaks, bone breaks, spring breaks, we never take a break from praising you. Even when we've seen the lightning flash and heard the thunder roll and taken tons of COVID tests, we praise because we have never been alone, but accompanied by a great cloud of witnesses who have cheered us on from the stands of life. The trustees, administrators, faculty, staff, family, and friends who encouraged us when we couldn't even encourage ourselves. We praise you for the ones with names like Wade and Brooks, but also for those whose names are unknown and made this graduation weekend possible. We praise as gratefulness flows like the Eno River from our hearts. As a new day dawns, show us how to not only make a living, but a life that is truth-telling, justice-seeking, peacemaking, love-breathing, grace-giving, joy-instigating, and hope-stirring, while being brave enough not to lie, wise enough not to be unkind, and strong enough not to hate. We offer this praise song of love with gratitude for the gift of this new morning and the class of 2022. Amen. Please be seated.
Good morning, class of 2022. I am thrilled to join Duke's faculty and your classmates, your families, and so many friends in congratulating you for reaching this extraordinary milestone, your commencement. Today is, fittingly, Mother's Day, when we come together in gratitude for the love and the support that sustains us. And in that spirit, let's begin by giving a shout out to the mothers and the family members and the friends who are here today. Class, please stand up, please stand, turn around, and give them a thunderous round of applause. Thank you. So we're gathered here this beautiful morning, this unseasonably cold morning, in historic Wallace Wade Stadium, the site of many joyful triumphs over the years. The classic scholars among you may know that that word stadium comes from the Latin for the standard distance of a foot race. And a race may be what many of you feel you've just completed, an extraordinary run with unforeseen turns along the way. And to be sure, you've earned the opportunity to sit here and to revel at the finish line with your fans surrounding you. And you may also feel that you're just beginning another race, one with its own turns and hurdles and a finish line that seems impossibly far off. Life is often described as a foot race, and as with any metaphor, it captures some important realities while obscuring others. And today, as we gather in this storied stadium, it seems a good time for us to consider the run-up to this moment and what comes next. Though it's gone now, there used to be a track here. And it was here in this stadium that the great Al Buehler, who spent 6 decades at Duke, coached track and field. You may recognize his name from the cross-country trail on the other side of the road around the golf course. But it was right here that Coach Buehler brought out the best in All-Americans, ACC champions, and Olympians. A Hall of Fame career that led none other than Mike Krzyzewski to say that, quote, Al defines the word coach and sets an example for all of us. Now, throughout his career, Coach Buehler has been a bold and a courageous voice for what is right, a champion of integrating college sports during the height of segregation, and a vocal advocate for equal scholarships for women. But what the runners he's coached over those many years most appreciate is his quiet wisdom and a guiding philosophy built around 3 core principles. First, you set up your own race. What he meant by this was to prepare and train and keep on learning. You've all learned this lesson time and again here at Duke, in late nights in the library, endless hours poring over problem sets, and today you are ready at the starting line. You also set up your own race by choosing actively when and how, even if to run, and to what destination. None of us knows the future. But setting up our own race, imagining what we want, and training for it will help us step off with purpose and with confidence. Coach Buehler's second principle was to stay conscious. He said, don't just plod along, think. As an undergraduate runner at the University of Maryland, Buehler kept a piece of tape on the insole of his spikes with the question, why, scrawled on it. And when the going got tough, when his lungs were burning on a cold morning like this, or the lactic acid was building up in his legs, he'd feel that tape against his foot, and he would ask himself, why? Why am I doing this? And he would remember the answer, because I enjoy doing it, and I'm good at it. The reward for all that preparation, for all that getting ready, are those breakthrough moments. The words that finally came to you in that paper, that key finding from an experiment, perhaps, or the flawless performance of a piece that you rehearsed time and again. Those wonderful moments when you feel as though you could run forever. Here at the start, remember that in the turns and the stumbles and the hurdles to come, a joyful breakthrough may be just ahead. Coach Bueller's third principle was teamwork. In his office, he had a reminder posted on the wall to always take good care of those you love. You're surrounded here today by people who love you, families and friends and classmates and faculty. And you're entering an even bigger family of thousands of Duke alumni who are ready to cheer you on and see you run your best race. And in those moments of uncertainty, you can turn to them for support and wisdom and guidance. In those moments when you're sure of your step, I hope you'll take Coach Bueller's advice and show them the same love. It will make you a better runner, I promise. Coach Bueller believes, and I agree, that these guiding principles can carry you through any of the races ahead. But there will be times when, despite the breakthroughs, despite your best preparation, despite the love and the support of your family and friends, it just won't be your day. And at these moments, I hope you'll remember that regardless of how well it might work as a framing device in commencement remarks, life is so much more than a race from a starting line to a finish. Believe it or not, I had a brief career as a high school pole vaulter and a track athlete. I was not what you would call fleet of foot. In fact, my most successful event as a runner was the 330-yard low hurdles, an event that pretty much, best as I can tell, had ceased to exist by the time I started college. So the races in my life have been mostly metaphorical. But I have still felt the disappointment of a poor finish, the frustration of feeling that I was falling behind, or the loneliness of getting left in the dust now and again. And here's where Coach Bueller's best advice comes in. The finish line is the starting point. Or to put it another way, whatever our standing in the race we think we're running, life goes on. This is a commencement, yes, but our education, our growth as learners, as citizens, professionals, as good and thoughtful people, is a continuous process, and it's not marked by beginnings and ends. The joy, the deep meaning, that sense of purpose and fulfillment is in the running itself. Our disappointments or challenges are really opportunities for growth and preparation for what's to come. Our breakthroughs are really reminders to stay fully conscious in the moment and to remind ourselves that life is so much more than a competition and that every moment should be enjoyed. And sometimes we only recognize the course we've been running when we stop to rest and we turn around. And we come to understand that ours is just one leg of a relay, and we hand off that baton to a new runner fresh to take our effort further than we ever could. The love and the support of our families and teammates along the way should remind you of the fact that we're in this together, all of us, that whatever the hurdle ahead or the hill we have to climb, others have been there too and are pulling for us to succeed. Duke class of 2022, as you break the tape over this finish line, as you celebrate this triumph and look ahead with excitement to all those triumphs to come, allow me to say congratulations. We cannot wait to see where the trail takes you from here, and know that we'll be pulling for you all the way. Congratulations. At Duke, we have a long tradition of beginning the commencement exercises with a student voice. Each year, a panel of Duke students, faculty, and staff recommends a member of the graduating class to be our student speaker. And this year, I am very pleased that they have selected Priya Prakash, who's graduating today with a Bachelor of Science in Statistical Science and Economics with a minor in Religious Studies. At Duke, Priya has conducted prominent research in green energy policy, in women's health, and our university's history. A passionate advocate for empowering women and people of color in STEM fields and for supporting the international community at Duke, Priya served as Duke Student Government Senator, University News Editor for the Chronicle, and founder of the Duke Actuarial Society, and also as a TA for the Statistics Department. She's advocated for improved relations between Muslim-majority countries and the U.S. in collaboration with the State Department's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. After graduation, Priya plans to pursue a career in management consulting and graduate studies in energy policy and international relations. Please join me in welcoming Priya Prakash.
Greetings, fellow countrymen and women of the Duke Nation. My name is Priya Prakash, and I'm honored to be standing here today as your commencement speaker. It wasn't so long ago that I boarded an airplane from my country 12,346 kilometers away with my exactly 50-pound suitcase in tow and found myself trotting around East Campus trying to figure out which one of these Georgian wonders was going to be my new home called Giles. Little did I know that pretty soon days, months, and years would rush by as we moved from East Campus to West Campus, from Marketplace to Broadhead Center, from Brody to Wilson, from quarantine housing to Duke housing and then back into quarantine housing, from our tents in Cable into Cameron Indoor Stadium, to finally find ourselves standing in this field today, ready to walk out the doors of Duke University and into the world with our diplomas in hand. When I close my eyes and look back on myself 4 years ago, I see a young woman who was constantly overcome with the need to do more. The overloading, the extracurriculars, the fellowships, the on-campus job, the research in a lab, and the going out 3 nights a week. A young woman who always questioned whether she was doing enough to make the most of this life-changing opportunity to attend Duke, whether the individuals whose shoulders she had stood on to get this far would be proud of her. However, over the years, her need to constantly prove herself took a backseat as she started to appreciate Duke for what it is: the people, the diversity of perspectives, a safe haven where you can speak your truth and live by your values. She soon came to realize that if Duke were to dig a moat around its perimeter and fill that with water, it could be its own tiny island nation like Cuba or maybe even Sri Lanka. Well, after all, we are home to several consulates, Students of the Caribbean, Pakistani Students Association, Duke Africa, Japanese Culture Club. We also have our own version of Christ the Redeemer, the statue of James Buchanan Duke standing atop an octagonal pedestal to grace 𝐁𝐁𝐁𝐿. We also have an IRS with its surprisingly bubbly fleet of tax collectors, the Duke Alumni Association. We also have the equivalent of the Federal Reserve, DUMAC, which manages an endowment larger than the GDP of 1/3 of the countries in the world. We have our secret passageways, the forbidden Duke tunnels. We also have a standing army, the Duke Campus Police. Thank you for your service. All Duke citizens also get diplomatic passports, which are like sweet nothings to the ears of US immigration. Believe me, I've tried and tested. Whenever I would be coming back from Pakistan, the questions would almost always run something like, first name, last name. That does not sound Pakistani enough. So how exactly did you concoct the scheme to be born to Pakistani parents in Pakistan? And how can you guarantee us that you will return to your country after giving us all your family's money over several years? However, before departing every semester, I would be sure to raid the Duke store, like our overly enthusiastic Duke moms and dads sitting here today, and showed up to the airport looking like the Blue Devil. Not a Blue Devil, but the Blue Devil. Yes, we're talking Duke cap, Duke sweatshirt, Duke sweatpants, Duke sunglasses, Duke slides, and even Duke underwear. As soon as immigration officers saw that I bled blue, "Oh, you're a Duke national. National security threat? No, not you. Come on in." And all of a sudden, in a jiffy, as I like to put it, the doors to this whole new world of possibilities flung wide open. That's when I first began to comprehend and embrace my Duke citizenship. Soon, the overtly visible, the concrete institutions melted into the background, and the unseen wiring that holds our school together began to scream out loud. Soon, the bunfight of ideas at administrator-led town halls, the painfully long Senate meetings of Duke student government, and the dissenting opinion pieces of the Duke Chronicle, ripe with the potency to make you rethink your beliefs, began to stand out as burning evidence of this Duke nation. I began to see the Duke country in the seething marketplace debates over brownies, froyo, and oily pizza, Ting Ting, freshman 15, and in the social justice petitions circulating around campus. Proof of our puffing, panting, and gasping civic communities. I saw it in my overly cluttered inbox, teeming with reminders of cultural showcases, student-led speaker events, and advocacy for any cause you can possibly imagine. A testament to the beating heart of my Duke citizens, overflowing with ingenuity, fervor, resolve, and purpose. I saw this nation in the resilience of my fellow students, who learned to support each other amidst the instability of the pandemic, in the welcoming responses to my cold emails sent to Duke alums, evidence of the camaraderie and brotherhood running through the veins of Duke citizens. If I were to close my eyes again and reflect on who I am today, I see a young woman who considers herself part of something bigger, the Duke Nation, bound not by race or religion, but by the shared values of respect, trust, and inclusion. A young woman who now has clarity, and with it, the conviction and originality to not let the noise define her, but to wear on her soul all she has learned at Duke, and to live a life that is worthy of telling the story that she was meant to tell. As you look around you, this is not just the story of one Pakistani girl who got lucky and found herself at this institution, both literally and figuratively, but the story of hundreds of my Duke countrymen and women sitting here today. Over the last 4 years, as the sole of our shoes have collected a world of experiences, we have all become this place in rather perplexing ways. Each one of us internalizing pieces of people, perspectives, and the past, all of which have transformed our outlook on the world. Stockpiles that I hope will empower us to bring the best of Duke to our next port of call. I believe we're all ready to spur revolutions in our own unique ways. And that adventure starts right here, right now, today. Thank you and congratulations all.
Thank you, Priya, for those inspiring words and for being such a wonderful citizen of Duke. And now I am pleased to welcome the chair of the Duke University Board of Trustees, Lorraine Sperling, to formally open this commencement for the awarding of honorary degrees.
Mr. President, I am now pleased to declare this commencement open. Duke University awards honorary degrees to recognize extraordinary achievement and service to the world. The candidates for honorary degrees have been enthusiastically approved by the faculty of the university and by the Board of Trustees. Each will be accompanied by a faculty sponsor.
I am now very pleased to confer by the power vested in me these honorary degrees upon 4 extraordinary candidates. To today's recipients, we know that your example will inspire our graduates to pursue careers of equal principle and purpose. We welcome you into our university community, and we're proud to call you Dukies. I now invite Claudia Gunch, Professor of Civil and Environmental Engineering, to accompany to the podium Sylvia Acevedo, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. Thank you. A rocket scientist and nonprofit leader, Sylvia Acevedo has been a tireless advocate for women and girls in STEM fields. Ms. Acevedo began her career as an engineer at IBM and NASA, where she worked in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory on the Solar Probe and Voyager 2 space missions. She went on to hold executive positions at Dell, Autodesk, and Apple, where she oversaw Asia and the Pacific region. In 2016, Ms. Acevedo assumed the role of CEO of the Girl Scouts of the USA, where she championed initiatives to close the gender gap in STEM and to train girls in skills including cybersecurity, automotive engineering, entrepreneurship, and leadership. And more than 1.5 million girls have earned the Associated Scout badges, inspiring them to explore new interests and pursuits. In 2010, President Barack Obama appointed her the chair of the White House Initiative for Educational Excellence for Hispanics in Early Childhood. And for her efforts to increase the involvement of Hispanic and underserved families in education, the government of Mexico awarded Ms. Azevedo its highest civil rights award, the OTLI. Sylvia, for your extraordinary leadership and service, I am delighted to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. I now invite Sandy Darity, Samuel Du Bois Cook, Professor of Public Policy, African and African American Studies, Economics, and Business, to accompany to the podium Akinwumi Adesina, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. A globally renowned development economist, Akinwumi Adesina is currently the 8th elected president of the African Development Bank Group, Africa's multilateral financial institution. As president, Dr. Adesina has launched High Fives, an initiative that has impacted the lives of over 350 million Africans by improving energy access, industrialization, and food security. He serves as a commissioner for the Global Climate Commission on Adaptation, leading international efforts to help prepare countries to respond to the current and future impacts of climate change. He is also one of 23 global leaders spearheading a UN initiative to help end world hunger and malnutrition. Before becoming president, Dr. Adesina served as the Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria, where he led efforts to end corruption, attracted billions in private investment, and helped address food insecurity. For his effort, Dr. Adesina was the recipient of the 2017 World Food Prize. Akinwumi, for your international leadership and achievements, I am delighted to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. I now invite Lawrence David, Associate Professor of Molecular Genetics and Microbiology, to accompany to the podium Patrick Brown, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. Patrick Brown is founder and chief visionary officer of Impossible Foods, which is creating nutritious food with a goal of protecting the environment and leading and feeding a growing global population. On his sabbatical from a faculty position at Stanford University, Dr. Brown had the idea to create plant-based meat, and the company he has founded has since produced the Impossible Burger and other innovative foods that have won fans the world over, including one fan at this podium at the moment. Prior to founding Impossible Foods, Dr. Brown was professor of biochemistry at Stanford University School of Medicine, where he and his colleagues developed DNA microarrays a technology that made it possible to monitor the activity of all genes in a genome. He also pioneered the use of gene expression patterns to better classify cancers and improve prediction of their clinical course. In recognition of his life-saving scholarship, Dr. Brown is a member of the National Academy of Sciences and the National Academy of Medicine, and he received the American Cancer Society Medal of Honor. Pat, for your ingenuity and for paving the way for the future of sustainable food, I am delighted to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. I now invite David Toole, Associate Professor of the Practice of Theology, Ethics, and Global Health, to accompany to the podium Thomas 𝐀𝐻𝐿, candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. Tom 𝐀𝐻𝐿 is Medical Director and Sole Surgeon at the Mother of Mercy Hospital in the Nuba Mountains of Central Sudan, the only referral surgical hospital in an area the size of Austria with a population of over 1 million people. When civil war broke out in Sudan in 2011 and the hospital was bombed, Dr. 𝐀𝐻𝐿 refused to leave, arguing that doing so would be like saying his life was more important than the lives of his patients. Despite active confrontation, he continues to treat hundreds of patients a day for everything from disease, cancer, malnutrition, and the injuries and wounds of the Civil War. Dr. 𝐀𝐻𝐿 began his medical career in the United States Navy, serving 4 years as a flight surgeon. Following his residency, he spent 6 years at hospitals in Kenya before moving to Sudan in 2007 to co-found the hospital he leads to this day. He has been named for his courageous efforts one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. And I'm exceptionally proud that Tom is a 1992 graduate of the Duke University School of Medicine and is the past recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award. Tom, for providing passionate care to some of the world's most vulnerable populations, I am delighted to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science. How about another round of applause for these extraordinary classmates? It is now my great pleasure to introduce this year's commencement speaker, Mary Barra. A visionary leader who is driving the future of automotive industries, Mary Barra is the Chief Executive Officer of General Motors, the first woman to lead a major automotive manufacturing company. In 2016, 2 years after becoming CEO, she was elected chair of the GM Board of Directors. Under Mary's leadership, General Motors envisions a world with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. And as CEO, her focus is on advancing an all-electric future that is inclusive and accessible to all. Mary says that her love affair with cars began with a cherry red Chevy Camaro in the late 1960s. Inspired by this first love, she began her 40-year career at GM as a co-op student of the General Motors Institute, inspecting hoods and fender panels at Pontiac. Before becoming CEO, she led GM's product development, purchasing and supply chain, human resources, and global manufacturing engineering organizations. Both Forbes and Fortune magazines have ranked Mary atop their lists of the most powerful women in business. In 2020, she was one of Fortune's top 10 greatest leaders in the world. And last year, Time magazine named Mary one of the world's 100 most influential people, and she became the first woman to serve as chair of the Business Roundtable. I'm proud to say that Mary is no stranger to this university community. She and her husband, Tony, are proud Duke parents 2 times over and have served as chairs of the Duke Parents Committee from 2018 to 2020. And she received an honorary degree of science at this ceremony in 2018 and joined the Duke University Board of Trustees last year. Mary, we're so proud to call you a Blue Devil, and we're thrilled to have you address these graduates.
Well, thank you, President Price, and to everyone who has worked behind the scenes preparing for this special day. Good morning, fellow trustees, distinguished faculty and administration, honorees, families, and friends. And most importantly, the Duke University class of 2022. Congratulations to each and every one of you. As the proud mom of 2 recent Duke graduates, I have sat in the audience for commencement twice before, including last year when John 𝐀𝐿EGEND was here. When President Price asked me to speak today, my first thought was, oh no, not after John 𝐿EGEND. He will be very tough to follow, but I assure you, I have absolutely no plans to sing today. That would not turn out well for either of us. It is an incredible honor to be asked to be with you today. This is a very special moment, worthy of the pomp and circumstance that surrounds it. And for those of you who started the celebration last night and maybe celebrated a bit too much, thank you for making it here this morning. Behind every high and every low, your family, your friends, professors, and mentors have likely played a role. Today is a celebration of you and everyone who helped make you, you. And today is also Mother's Day. So for all the mothers present, elsewhere, or with us in spirit, we are here because of you, and nothing can ever replace you. So please, let's once again thank all of the mothers for everything. My story starts with my family because family means so much to me. My mom came from a large family with 8 kids and grew up on a farm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. She grew up during the Depression and they were very poor. My dad grew up in Minnesota, in the Iron Range area, and also during the Depression. He earned a Gold Star and a Purple Heart serving in World War II, and he was at General Motors for 39 years as a die maker. A die maker is a skilled tradesperson who actually makes the forms for all of the panels on the outside of a vehicle, fenders, hoods, etc. And they both believed in the American dream, that if you worked hard enough, got yourself an education, believed in yourself, you could achieve anything. They instilled that in me and my brother, and I still believe it today. And when I think about growing up, many of my memories are from our kitchen table. It was a brown Formica table with 4 chairs. I sat across from my brother and looked at the wall where my mom's needlepoint was hanging. Every day after school and eventually after work, we would sit and talk about the day at that kitchen table. Often, we had extended family and neighbors drop by. There was always room at our table. And what I didn't realize at the time was those conversations were some of the most formative of my life. Who I am as a person, a wife, a mother, a friend, and as a leader. So what did I learn at that kitchen table? I would like to share 5 lessons. 1, do your best. 2, find your purpose. 3, listen to understand. 4th, be honest always. And 5th, include one more. I've learned time and again how fundamental these lessons have been and continue to be. So let's get started. Number 1 from the kitchen table, do your best. Just 3 words. Over the years as a student, parent, leader, and mentor, I've met and worked with many talented people. But while talent gives you a head start, it's not nearly enough to win. You need more, and I've learned that one important trait that distinguishes those who truly excel in life is hard work. When I was little, I was not athletic. My husband and kids can confirm this is still true today. No one wants to be my pickleball partner. I was a nerd, and grades were really important to me. After a test, I would worry that I didn't do well, and my mom would always ask me, "Did you do the best you could?" And I would say yes, and then she would say, "That's all that matters." When I was younger, that voice sometimes annoyed me. I found it so dismissive. But the older I got, the more I found myself calling home to hear those words after a tough test or a tough day. I've always been a big believer in the expression, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. And to quote Coach K, believe that loose ball you are chasing has your name on it. If you choose to do something, do your best, work hard. A degree from Duke will open doors and give you a boost, that's for sure. But speak up, volunteer, contribute, and when people need help, don't look the other way. It is the amount of effort you put in that will enable you to accomplish more than you ever imagined. Number 2 from the kitchen table, find your purpose. I have been at General Motors my entire career. And as Vince said, when I was 18, I started as a co-op student, meaning I would work for 3 months and go to school 3 months, and I did that for 5 years. It paid for college. It's where I met my husband, Tony, of 36 years. My very first job at GM was being a quality inspector on the assembly line, inspecting the fenders and hood panels, and my only company-issued equipment was a clipboard and some safety glasses. And I learned working on an assembly line is hard work, and the people who do it are talented. Because I was a co-op student while going to school, I rotated through many areas like the assembly line, and I met many people. To a person, they were generous with their time and taught me what I needed to know for my specific assignment. But I also got to see the company and the world from their perspective. Often they would share their dreams and their struggles, and I learned empathy, putting myself in their shoes. Empathy, it's the ability to share and understand the feelings of one another, and it's foundational to any form of leadership. Since that first job, I've worked as an executive assistant to the chairman and vice chairman in communications, in HR, as a plant manager, and in product development. And as I grew, my roots at General Motors deepened, and my empathy for the incredible people who pour their heart and soul into the company grew. I slowly started to connect with my purpose, and I realized I had a role to play with people to help them be their best selves. And with General Motors, that I would be part of a turnaround to see GM once again become a respected industry leader. Purpose is the answer to why. Always ask yourself why. It's a simple question, and being honest with yourself will help you navigate big decisions and small ones. It will give you clarity and fuel you in challenging times. Now, you may not have your life's purpose figured out yet. If you do, that's wonderful. Treat it as your North Star, and you may veer on occasion, but always find your way back. If you don't have it figured out yet, that's okay, but seek it, because trust me, it will save you a lot of time just wandering around. Number 3 from the kitchen table, listen to understand. Listening is foundational to everything, and not just listening to respond or defend, but truly listening to understand. Because listening to understand leads to the ability to respect other people's points of view, even if they're different than your own. Now, one of my roles at General Motors was leading global human resources. Candidly, I didn't have a lot of HR experience, but I felt I could make a difference. It was at a critical time for the company, and I immediately began identifying areas where I believed we could improve the company's performance. One area was a vacation policy, particularly a program that allowed you to buy 4 extra vacation days each year. At the time, it seemed to me that the program had outlived its usefulness and no longer had a place in our leaner, more nimble company. Now, my HR team told me it was a bad idea, but I was convinced I was right. So I eliminated it. The next day, all I can say is that I nearly got eliminated myself. It was a truly unpopular move, but that's not what made it wrong. What made it wrong was that I didn't understand, I didn't listen to my HR team, and so I didn't understand how important these days were. People were using these extra days to help them get the flexibility they needed to manage their work and personal lives, and in particular, to be there for important personal moments like caring for a parent, attending a child's sporting game, or attending an important event with their partner. More often than not, they use these days a fraction at a time, a few hours here and there. Long story short, I course corrected and we reinstated the policy, and we did it quickly. You're not going to get it right 100% of the time. No one does. But don't be so proud to think that you have all the answers. Listen. Number 4 from the kitchen table, be honest always. Now, you will make mistakes. You will mess up. Will you run? Will you look the other way? Will you hope they blame someone else? Or will you own it? Owning your mistakes and working to fix them is one of the best ways to learn. And I would also say it helps you sleep at night. I've actually found it empowering to admit a mistake. And after all, quite often, most people around you know you already made the mistake. And once you own it, you can go about fixing it. Being honest also means finding your voice and having a point of view. Don't sit in a meeting waiting for someone else to offer up your ideas and perspectives. And find a way to respectfully share feedback. Everything works better when we're able to share and receive feedback graciously. You owe it to yourself and those around you. And your integrity is everything. It takes years to build, and it can crumble in a moment. And when it's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. So protect it in everything you do. Assume goodness on the part of others. Do what you say you're going to do. And always remember that if you win without integrity, you really haven't won. And number 5, possibly the most important lesson I learned, include one more. Make room at the table. Like I said, it wasn't just my mom, my dad, my brother, and I at the table. More often than not, family or friends would drop by after school or work. We'd pull up extra chairs, and then all of a sudden, it would be dinner time. My mom would put on the table whatever she had planned for dinner, and then if she didn't have enough, she would make tuna fish sandwiches. There was definitely a point in my life when I saw her going to the cupboard, I'd think, please, no, not tuna. And I have to admit, I was a little embarrassed that that's all we could offer. And then many years later, at my mother's funeral, my cousin Cheryl, who was a deaconess, did the eulogy. She started out by asking, how many people have ever had a tuna fish sandwich at Aunt Eva's house? Hands shot up all across the room, with everyone with big smiles on their faces. And that's when I realized it had nothing to do with the tuna. When you were at my house, you were going to talk, people were going to listen, you were going to laugh for sure, and you might even cry, either from sadness or happiness. And you would be fed, even if it was a tuna sandwich. There's always room for one more. Everyone was included. And that's what Tony and I have tried to do for our children, and that's what I try to do professionally as well. You know, there's a lot that's not right in the world, plenty to be worried about. But there are also so many reasons for hope. And I think the collective conversation and progress we're making on the power of inclusion is a huge cause for hope. And you, the next generation of leaders, are driving that. You're challenging assumptions, and you're pushing all of us to be better. I hope you never stop. So that's it. That's my message today. Thank you for letting me share a little bit of my story and what I've learned along the way. You are at a remarkable point in your lives, in a remarkable time. Whatever path you choose, you will have opportunity. When that opportunity comes, what will you do with it? Will you give of yourself? Will you protect what needs protecting? Will you leave this world a little better than you found it? I believe you will. So find your people, create your own kitchen table, discover your own wisdom. And as you celebrate, please thank the people who have cheered you on. They will keep you grounded and focused on what's truly important in life. Congratulations on everything you've already accomplished and everything you're about to accomplish as the bright future you have in front of you awaits you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary, for those wonderful lessons from the kitchen table. It's now my great pleasure to welcome our extraordinary Provost, Chief Academic Officer, and the Joe Ray Wright University Distinguished Professor, Sally Kornbluth.
Thank you, Vince. This is one of the highlights of each year at Duke and the moment you have all been waiting for throughout your time here. And this year, this moment takes on special resonance as we reflect on all that you have been through together and all that you have accomplished while at Duke. Your academic careers have been truly extraordinary. Among you are Marshall, Schwartzman, Rachel Carson, and Gates Cambridge Scholars. You've won graduate fellowships from the NSF, a Presidential Management Fellowship, research grants from the NIH, and countless other awards. You have conducted research published in distinguished journals, launched innovative companies, joined interdisciplinary teams, engaged with communities around the globe, served our neighbors in Durham, saved and improved lives, advocated for the voiceless, and helped shape our understanding of the world and our place in it. And today, you are only just getting started. As you set off from Duke to begin careers of purpose, continue to pursue your interests in the academy and to improve the lives of those you will meet along the way. I'm very pleased to say, congratulations. Before I recognize the graduates today from Duke schools, I would first like to acknowledge that in an historic moment, we have many graduates from our sister institution, 𝐀𝐛𝐨𝐮𝐭 University, with us today. The undergraduates among them will receive their degrees in a ceremony later this month, but I would ask them now to rise and be recognized as members of the Duke University community. Thank you. Mr. President, as Chief Academic Officer of the university, it is my pleasure to declare the convocation officially open for the awarding of earned degrees. As they are called, I invite the deans of the schools and the college to present the degree candidates. I now call upon Paula McLean, Dean of the Graduate School.
Will the degree candidates of the graduate school please rise? Mr. President, I am honored to present the theoretically grounded and analytically sophisticated candidates of the graduate school who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, our highest academic honor, Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Fine Arts, and Master of Science.
Thank you. And let me first express my gratitude to you, Dean McLean, for your extraordinary decade of service as Dean of this extraordinary graduate school. We're so pleased to have you returning to the classroom and your research. You've been a tireless advocate for our graduate students and for graduate education, and we're so grateful for your leadership. And now, by the authority vested in me, I'm delighted to confer upon you these degrees in the graduate school and to welcome you to the company of those engaged in continuing the search for knowledge. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Mary Klotman, Dean of the School of Medicine.
Will the degree candidates of the School of Medicine please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the dedicated candidates from the School of Medicine who have completed all requirements of the degrees of Doctor of Medicine, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Master of Biostatistics, Master of Health Sciences, Master of Health Sciences in Clinical Research, Master of Management in Clinical Informatics, and Master of Science in Biomedical Sciences.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the School of Medicine, and I welcome you into the company of those dedicated to the care of human life and health. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Carrie Abrams, Dean of the School of Law.
Will the degree candidates of the School of Law please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present these exceptional, problem-solving, persuasive, empathetic, and justice-seeking candidates of the School of Law who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Juridical Science, Juris Doctor, Master of Laws in International and Comparative Law, or Master of Laws in Law and Entrepreneurship.
By the authority vested in me, I am delighted to confer upon you these degrees in the School of Law and welcome you to the company of those committed to the pursuit of truth and justice. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Edgardo Colon-Emmerich, Dean of the Divinity School.
Will the degree candidates of the Divinity School please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the God-wise, church-serving, world-facing candidates of the Divinity School who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Ministry, Doctor of Theology, Master of Arts in Christian Practice, Master of Arts in Christian Studies, Master of Divinity, Master of Theological Studies, and Master of Theology.
By the authority vested in me, I am pleased to confer upon you these degrees in the Divinity School and salute you as you embark on vocations in service to your high calling. Congratulations, graduates.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Vincent Guillermo Ramos, Dean of the School of Nursing.
Will the degree candidates of the School of Nursing please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the exceptional candidates of the School of Nursing who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Nursing Practice, Master of Science in Nursing, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing. These students served on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic response over the past 2 years, and I applaud their remarkable perseverance in completing these requirements.
By the authority vested in me, I am delighted to confer upon you these degrees in the School of Nursing and welcome you to the company of those who apply their knowledge and compassion to provide skillful care. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Bill Boulding, Dean of the Fuqua School of Business.
Will the degree candidates of the Fuqua School of Business please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the industrious candidates of the Fuqua School of Business who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Business Administration, Master of Management Studies, and Master of Science in Quantitative Management.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Fuqua School of Business and welcome you to the work of building our economic future through thoughtful and responsible management. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Toddy Steelman, Dean of the Nicholas School of the Environment.
Will the degree candidates of the Nicholas School of the Environment please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the ocean protecting, climate safeguarding, energy conserving, health enhancing, water sustaining, environmental justice seeking, world-changing candidates of the Nicholas School of the Environment. They have completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Environmental Management, Master of Forestry, and the International Master of Environmental Policy, a joint degree program between the Nicholas School and the Sanford School of Policy.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Nicholas School of the Environment and welcome you to the vital work of understanding and protecting the natural world. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. I now call on Phil Napoli, Senior Associate Dean for Faculty and Research in the Sanford School of Public Policy.
Will the degree candidates for the Sanford School of Public Policy please rise? Mr. President, on this, the 50th anniversary of the study of public policy at Duke, I have the honor to present the innovative candidates of the Sanford School of Public Policy who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of International Development Policy, Master of Environmental Policy, and Master of Public Policy.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Sanford School of Public Policy and welcome you to the company of those who seek to transform ideas into policies for our greater good. Congratulations.
Graduates, you may be seated. I now call upon Jerome Lynch, Dean of the Pratt School of Engineering.
Will the degree candidates of the Pratt School of Engineering please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the outrageously ambitious, entrepreneurial, and fearlessly innovative candidates of the Pratt School of Engineering who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Engineering, Master of Engineering Management, and Bachelor of Science in Engineering.
By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you these degrees in the Pratt School of Engineering and welcome you as you join those building the future and pioneering new paths for technology. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. And last, but certainly not least, I call on Valerie Ashby, Dean of the Trinity College of Arts and Sciences.
Will the degree candidates for Trinity College of Arts and Sciences please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the extremely excited, extraordinarily resilient, and exceptionally talented candidates of Trinity College who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science.
Dean Ashby, let me first thank you for your extraordinary service to Trinity College as our dean and wish you the very best as you step into this new role as president of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Thank you. And now I am thrilled to confer upon you these degrees in the Trinity College of Arts and Sciences, and I wish you all the best as you begin your careers to pursue knowledge and to serve the world. Congratulations. Congratulations, graduates. Throughout your time at Duke, you've already demonstrated that you're well prepared for lives of principled leadership. And in a society that's increasingly connected, you'll have a greater opportunity than ever to make meaningful change in the world. But remember, you are not going it alone. We're all fortunate to be a part of a community of extraordinary people of accomplishment and purpose, connected by our shared values, a global Duke community, now hundreds of thousands strong. And we rely upon each other for help and support, for intellectual challenge, and for fellowship and encouragement to excel. Wherever life takes you from here, whether near to campus or a world away, Duke will always, always be your home. Congratulations to the great class of 2022. And now, as we close this ceremony, please rise and join me and our wonderful student ensemble in the singing of the alma mater, Dear Old Duke.
Dear old Duke, thy name will sing. To thee our voices raise, will raise. To thee our anthems ring. In everlasting praise. And though on life's broad sea our fates may far us bear, we'll ever turn to thee, our alma mater dear.
This concludes Duke University's 170th commencement ceremony. Thank you for joining this celebration. For everyone's safety, we ask that you exit the stadium slowly and carefully.